Imagine one of your all-time favorite athletes getting caught with steroids. An example of this would be Barry Bonds, who was one of the most famous baseball players ever, who was eventually caught with steroids when he played for the San Francisco Giants. Steroid use has trickled down to kids of the younger age, who face the pressures of being faster and stronger to make it to the college or professional levels. Research shows that 5% of boys and 2.5% of girls have used steroids. Steroid use is becoming more and more common among athletes in the higher level of training. Society needs to make sure that kids who are younger and involved in sports know the dangers of using steroids and see how it can affect athletes who have been caught using this drug. Growing up around sports, I have seen what steroids can do, so I better understand the dangers of the drug. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how kids need to be informed about the dangers of steroids, therefore hopefully cutting down the issue when they get to the college level. First, I'm going to talk to you about the dangers and issues that have arose from steroid use and how they are affecting kids. The number of college and professional athletes using steroids has dramatically increased over the years. Most of the children today are growing up watching their favorite baseball or football player, not knowing that the fact that they might use steroids. Like I said earlier, about 5% of boys and 2.5% of girls are using steroids, and the number continues to increase. Of the 80% of athletes using steroids and the 30% of non-users, they believe that steroids could help them achieve their athletic goals. The Mitchell report implicated more than 80 professional baseball players in the use of steroids. With the number of steroids users increasing, the youth need to know about the dangers of using and how it is pretty much cheating. According to the NIDA for teens, guys who take steroids are more likely to have problems producing sperm and may develop breasts, while women, on the other hand, may acquire facial hair or the deepening of the voice. These are issues that I'm sure neither a guy nor a girl would want to ever experience. Today there is little emphasis on how much this drug is affecting sports and the lives of people who are taking the drug. With a small amount of emphasis, the numbers will continue to increase if something is not done. Out of the 12 years that I have been in school, I never once learned about the dangers of steroids and how it is pretty much really harmful to your body. It is pretty much cheating to get to the same level as someone who might just be better than you at a sport. As the number of steroid use in 2001 was 4.0%, increased to 6.1% in 2005, researchers are beginning to worry as steroids are becoming a bigger problem, even among children who are in 8th grade trying to look up to their role models. Now that we know that there is a major problem with steroid use, I'm going to talk to you about how we can fix it. A mandatory course for students will help educate, while mandatory drug testing for students will reduce steroid use. Within high schools, there should be a class that informs students about the cautions of steroid use. My school district, where I grew up, did not put any focus on the fact that steroids can be harmful and are very dangerous, and the fact that they can cause cancer. If schools were to offer a semester-long course about steroids, this would in turn decrease the amount of steroids being used among athletes. All students from ages 10 and on would be required to take this course, with emphasis on student athletes, meaning that they might have to take multiple courses. When students learn about steroids, it needs to scare them and make them not want to be around it. Every society, every nation needs to require that kids in their school have a mandatory drug test that makes sure all sports are fair. If schools require a mandatory drug test for all students, it would most likely scare the students into not doing this or even trying them. A student caught using steroids would be suspended or expelled from the sport until further notice by a coach or head advisor. In my high school, neither my classmates nor I were ever tested for steroids. Therefore, nobody knows if my high school was actually true in sports. Adding a course about steroids and having a mandatory drug test for students from ages 10 and on is the first step in teaching kids to stay away from steroids altogether. Having a course that explains the dangers of steroids and also have a mandatory drug test will dramatically help sports as we know it. Having a course will help change sports and start kids at a younger age to stay away, improving sports as they get older. The steroid course would be meant to teach students about the dangers of getting involved in drugs, and for the rest of their athletic career, they would not be tempted to use that steroid. There can be one upside, though, to steroids. According to Elatsi, steroids can benefit in some way. The drug can be formulated to improve the well-being of animals altogether with human beings, and they have legitimate therapeutic activity, which might be a plus in steroid use. Mandatory drug testing can make sure that people do not cheat, especially in events like the Olympics and other college events. We will know that everyone is competing fairly throughout the United States. As Lawrence Taylor, a professional baseball player, would say, steroids are for guys who want to cheat their opponents. A course on steroids would help decrease the amount of steroid usage. Along with the steroids course that could prevail, drug testing is a good way to stop students from steroids. If the steroids course were made in our society, the amount of steroids would dramatically increase. I hope to someday see these changes made to the steroid side of things. It will be better for our society. I encourage you to write to your local school board around you and suggest and promote these changes.